But today on In Business, we're taking a look at food commodities as the UN summit wraps up discussions in Rome today about how to combat world hunger. Our next guest is a rice trader and a farmer who says that the price of agricultural commodities is going to continue to be on the rise. How can governments prevent another food crisis like we saw last year? We're putting that question to Dennis DeLaughter. He's the owner of Progressive Farm Marketing. Good morning to you, Dennis. Thanks for joining us. We're looking at particularly rice. It's so key to so many of the emerging markets, and it's absolutely skyrocketing right now. Are we going to see another situation in this country where you get the Sam's Clubs of the world rationing the amount of rice that they can sell?
Well, it is possible. Right now what we're looking at is what is the real picture in India, what's the picture in the Philippines. We've got two countries that are going to really go head-to-head trying to buy rice. And right now we've got a whole lot of uncertainty as to the supply of rice that's available, both in the United States as well as in the world, especially the exporting countries. How much rice do they really have, and are they able to really supply? So there is a possibility that we're going to see some fear move into the markets, and people are going to be looking to hoard supplies of rice over the near term.
We've been hearing that India may have to import rice this year, obviously a key foodstuff to their populace. But when you look at what's driving this right now, is this a product of climate change? I mean, that phrase is bandied about often here. Is this what's driving this unusual weather pattern, these issues with supply right now?
Well, you know, it's one of those things that it's hard to know. I mean, India hasn't been an importer since really back in 2000, 2001,
right,
when they imported some rice. Now they're importing. It's really difficult to know if we've seen a major weather pattern change that is going to continue. We've seen the ups and downs over the past 2 to 3 years in the supply of rice, both in the world as well as in the United States. It's really hard to know, but we do know that we cannot have any kind of bump in the road like we're having this year, especially 2 years in a row. If we have this kind of problem next year anywhere in the world that supplies rice, we're going to have a real problem on our hands. What's
your outlook for pricing right now?
Well, right now we believe that since the Philippines has come in early, they're buying 1.2 million metric tons of rice. They're tendering now between now and December the 8th, and they're ahead of schedule. We're really expecting the price of rice to continue to firm up through the end of this year, and probably by the end of next year, or the end of March, I should say, as we get ready to start our planning here in the United States, we ought to have a pretty good idea of what the real situation is. But right now we think $16.50 by the end of the year, and we could see the price of rice $19 to $20 by this time next year.
Now, at the same time, when you look at some of the other edible commodities out there, wheat, corn, there's sort of the opposite case playing out in terms of what's putting pressure on those prices. Can there be replacement of, rice foodstuffs with some of these items that are almost overproduced, some would say right now?
Well, there is some substitution in certain areas, like in India, you may see some wheat substituted for rice. We do have a good surplus of wheat, there's no question about that. But at the same point in time, with the consumer wanting rice in most of these importing countries, they're going to go out and try to get the rice bought, which could mean that we have a really quick market spurt before they're able to get a substitute in position.
When you look at corn in this country, what 36% of corn produced goes to ethanol right now, 51% for feed. What's your outlook on corn pricing right now?
Well, we're looking for corn to probably move back up into the 450 level in the Chicago futures near term. The current carryover number we think is going to decline, not go up, and you still have 50% of the crop in the field. So there's still some unknown questions in corn as well, and we just really feel like that over the near term we're going to see that price continue to strengthen.
All right. If you're putting money to work in this space right now, what's your best bet?
Well, I think right now maybe someone looking in the rice market, probably looking at maybe the $16 May calls, something along those lines, to put themselves in a position to have a move up in the market. In the corn market, we're looking at maybe the $4.40 call spread. That's kind of what we're looking at.
All right. Thank you so much, Dennis DeLaughter, for joining us, giving us an outlook there on some of the edible commodities. Of course, we do know in Rome today, talk at the World Food Summit looking at potential political spillover of skyrocketing foodstuffs.